sailboat that sank on dry land, a Moody 33 that got out of hand. She's 50 years old, just like the man. Gonna make her luxury, yes I am. Come on down, it's gonna get a bit moody. Yeah, we're in a bad moody.
Morning YouTube. So we're on our way to Wales to get the boats ready for shipping. It is a glorious bank holiday Monday. You can see by the amazing weather. I think we're going to be hitting 30 degrees today. And we have got first hard day's work on the boat, and we've got to get ready for transport. And of course, I'll give you a little show around of this complete mess of the boat that sank on dry land. This was love, ladies and gentlemen. She is stunningly beautiful for all of her faults, and I cannot wait to show you what we have here. I bought her for the sum of £1 for legal transfer. I'm also made a donation to the RNLI for a decent sum, but nothing that would stress anyone. She is worth every single penny. Look at her. So she is a Moody 33 Mark 1. They started producing these boats in 1973, designed by Angus Primrose and built by Marine Projects in the UK. They were probably one of the first Moody boats that was actually designed for mass production. She is a standard sloop, 3 cabins, 6 to 7 berths. She comes in at a very beamy 11.5 feet wide, making her quite a chunky girl. Everybody seems to think she's a lot longer than she actually is. I cannot wait to show you around her fully internally and to show you what we're working with. But now, unfortunately, the one bad thing on the outside, and yes, that is quite a large hole. More about that later on in this video. Hi, welcome to In a Bad Moody. This is the very first video. Few things to tell you. So this isn't going to be a normal restoration channel. It's to achieve 3 things. The first one being, can I take a boat that sank on dry land, more about that later, and turn it into something that looks like it's just rolled out of the boatyard, brand new. That's the ambition. The second thing, can I learn to sail? Genuinely, I've got a little bit of experience, and by that I mean a very, very small amount of experience, but a lifelong ambition and dream to be able to sail around the Med, around the world in the future. And can I gain that experience? And the third thing is, can someone with no real knowledge gain the experience to do it professionally, carefully, safely? How much does it all cost? What is the true cost of owning, restoring, maintaining, and living and traveling aboard a yacht? All of that is the aim of this channel. Also, we're going to deal with massive bloody holes. Great. Absolutely baking down here today in Cardiff. Close to 30 degrees. And what you don't want to be on board is a smelly, dirty, horrible, musty, murky, wet boat. This is what we're working with. This is what we're working with. Yes, it's not good, guys. It's really not good. So, As you can see, the kettle seems to have survived. The windows haven't. The headlining hasn't. Oh, this hasn't. Quite a bit of room back there. It's disgusting. It smells. It's bad. I have to watch where I'm walking because the floor is all spongy and everything's given out. That is more standing water still there. It's not good, is it? Let me take you through into the head. As you can see down there, we are almost at the top, full of water. The thing about the Moody 33, the Mark 1, is that it was a full width head. Try and shut that door. So you have the sink on one side with some storage. The floor is very bad here. Very, very bad. And on that side, you have the toilet and the wet locker. Sorry for the bad framing, guys. It's quite tight in here. Then we have the fore cabin, the master cabin, the V berth. Again, let's have a little look under here, see if there's any water in this. Yeah, we've got water here. Chain locker up the front. Again, all the headlining. Everything's down. Got some friendly neighbourhood Spider-Men. But there is not much good to say about this. In fact, it's very, very bad. I'm being very careful as I walk, purely because I'm not sure whether I'm going to go through the floor or not. Battery storage down there. And then we come up. There's the love of my life sitting on my boat. Or is the love of my life got Gemma sat on it? Say hi, Gemma. It's great on camera, as you can tell. And then we have the aft cabin, which is two singles. I've not even been down in here yet. It doesn't appear as bad. The the cupboards seem to be relatively intact. It's full of sails and various other things. Out on the deck, things start to look up. Take off a cover. Nice Raymarine equipment, quite recent. Out over here, up onto the main deck. Again, actually not too bad. Everything is below. All of the issues are below. The rigging, apart from probably needing new lines throughout, looks pretty good. The shrouds don't look stretched. They all look pretty good. So what do? We crack on, that's what. Okay guys, so you've seen the tour, you've seen what we're working with, and I guess the question is, well, probably two questions. How did the boat get like this? And what are we going to do about it? So the boat basically sank on dry land, as bizarre as it sounds. So the previous owner kept the boat in fantastic condition, invested plenty of money in it, and enjoyed some amazing years sailing with his young family and really enjoying a boat as you're supposed to enjoy it. And then, of course, what happens is life comes on and gets in the way. So the boat got lifted out, put on the hard, ready for some fresh anti-foul. And then 6 months turned into a year turned into 2, 3, and I think it was maybe 3.5, 4 years since they'd actually returned to the boat. In that time, if you remember, between 2022, 23 and now, it's been very, very wet in the UK, incredibly wet. And I'm not sure exactly where the volume of water has come from. When we first came here, we noticed that this companionway hatch cover doesn't close and close off properly, fully. There's also some damage to the cabin hatches. uh, and I think water's probably been getting in through several places. All the windows are leaking. But what then happened was that probably 5 to 6 tons of water collected, flooded right up to almost the seating box level. That means the weight of the boat was huge for the cradle that it was on. It was on a smaller cradle than it was on now, as you can tell by where the placings are. And that caused the boat to shift and slip on it, which is what punctured the hole through the fiberglass on the side in the hull. So how frustrating, you've had a boat that you've loved and you've enjoyed and there was nothing really wrong with it, to find that, to all intents and purposes, that boat had had standing water in it for at least 2 years, possibly 3. All of the interior completely ruined. As I said, not too sure about what the back cabin's like yet, the aft cabin's like. I will get better at the boat lingo. But the aft cabin is yet to be explored, but it's bad, but it's nowhere near as bad. The final thing to look at is the engine, and we'll take a look at that shortly. But again, still not good. I couldn't really get any good footage in here, so I'm afraid it's just a bit of a blurry picture. But she looks like a blurry mess up close. The alternator is totally seized. Most of it is very rusty, and it looks like there was a water line halfway up the engine. So hopefully I would strip her down to the very last nut and bolt and be able to do something in miraculous terms. But we will see, and more on that in a future episode. So why would I want to save this boat? Ruined interior, flooded, hole in the side. Is it even worth it? Well, there's a few reasons why. So number one, she's a Moody. Moody's have always had the reputation as being one of the most solid, overbuilt, best production yachts ever made. The second reason, everybody loves the Moody's. When you talk to anybody else at the marinas, at the boat shows, anywhere, and you talk about a Moody, even a classic 50-year-old yacht, there's a real love and affection for them. And the third reason is it was the perfect boat for me, and I'll explain why. I'd always wanted a boat where I could take something that was old and make it like new, a little bit like restoring a house or fixing a classic car. I want this boat to feel like it's just come out of the showroom. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a boat that's in good condition and ripping out an original interior, because people have a lot of affection for that. And I know within the Moody community, if I was there seen ripping out all the beautiful handmade internals of a classic Moody yacht, I probably wouldn't be that popular. But I think we can all agree, can't save that. It's gone. So I want you to join me over the next however many episodes it takes, however many times I end up swearing, cutting myself, headbutting something because I am 6'3", shouting at Gemma, which I won't do. She's behind the camera at the moment, she's looking gloriously sexy in the sun, and maybe you'll see her later. I'm gonna have to edit that bit out. Looking gloriously sexy in the sun. I want you to join us as we go on this journey, and I'm going to be doing it very differently probably to some sailing channels. I'm not a amateur or DIYer. I am when it comes to boats, but there's not much I can't make, I can't fix to a really great standard. Mechanical engineer from trade and qualification. No longer do that, but I've remembered everything. I forgot I took this video. It's a very short one, but what it does show is where the mast connects to the deck. We have holes. They didn't bother plugging them for where all the cabling comes through. So one of them is quite large, and there is a very small amount of core material underneath it, which is absolutely soaked through, so will need to be addressed. But possible root of some of the flooding. And this will be home. We're going to clean that out, but no rush. It's going to be a while. Certainly worse places to sit out in an evening and look at that view. I think I might need to get some more suntan lotion. Definitely one of the most beautiful spots you could have a berth anywhere on this world. You can see I am obviously in a good mood. Look at this place.
I absolutely love it. We all do. The staff have been amazing. Met some really great people already. Everybody can't wait to see her done and are very excited about the fact that we're saving her, because she would have been sent to the scrapyard. So here she is arriving from her trip up from Cardiff. These guys at Shoreline, absolutely brilliant. I'll talk about them more next week, and I'll be providing the link to them. Guys at the boatyard as well took her off very professionally and safely, even though it was very scary, but we'll cover that off next week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, because hopefully I'll have some cool, interesting things coming up, and leave your comments below. I will try to respond. Thanks again for watching, and just remember, if you cannot be in a good moody, then please be in a bad one. Take care, everyone, and see you next week.
Yes, I am. Come on down, it's gonna get a bit